Disclaimer, I do not dislike CinemaSins, and that is not a lie. For my next Everything Wrong with CinemaSins video, I'm going to be seeing their video on Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Enjoy the video, everyone.
十环的传说已经流传了上千年。
Narrating.
Like I've said before, movies need narration to tell a story, and also the captions are required for people who don't speak Chinese.
有人说它的十环是火山口里捡来的，还有人说是墓穴里盗来的。
Or maybe they were in a box of cereal. We really don't know.
I get that this is a joke, but cereal is never brought up in this movie.
Over the next few minutes, these super circles will create a force field, force push him from his steed, clear a landing spot, pack some power punches, grab a soldier by electricity or some shit, clear a path to the door, and anything else the movie thought would look cool. As opposed to, skipping the Ten Ring Circus and just doing the door thing, at which point every single soldier shrugs and walks away.
The Ten Ring Circus is supposed to show what the Ten Rings can do, and I also don't think that the other soldiers are just simply shrugging.
Also, he does some impressive ass beating, but do the 10 Ninja Donuts not allow him to take on more than one guy at a time?
No, you can see here that Wenwu was able to take out 2 soldiers.
也改写了历史。
Unless you're time traveling, you don't change the course of history. You set the course of history. To change something indicates a given guaranteed alternative. Set the course of history sounds more badass anyway.
Technically, change is the better word to use. And to give an example for clarity, COVID-19 changed the course of history for schools since they had to be closed down for safety reasons. My main point is that if there was no pandemic, there wouldn't be a change in the history of schools, so change is the better word.
传说中的神兽和古老的法术还都存在。
Why would gods use martial arts?
Because they can do whatever we imagine them doing.
明白，我这就派侦察队去一探究竟，然后有消息立马跟您汇报。
我们现在就去。
Kids!
I mean, a power-hungry villain would also probably want to get what they desired sooner rather than later.
Okay, fine, mystical, magical, blah, blah, whatever. But trees have freaking roots, man. It's not like the movie is saying this is an illusion. There are real physical consequences here. Are these Fallon trees? Because I just don't see how they could stand on their own without the roots.
1, they're bamboo trees. 2, you acknowledge that this forest is magical, yet you still think fictional things can happen. You're really overdoing it, my dude.
The guy with the supernatural fitness tracker saves himself and only himself. Guess who this movie's villain is?
Scenes before this one have already established that Wenwu is the villain.
Now see, if that was David Dunn, that puddle would have killed him.
David Dunn is a musician and is also unrelated to this movie.
妈妈的故乡塔罗有一个神龙，它是我们的保护神，它将魔法赋予在了我们每个人的身上。
Martin Brodeur?
Bringing up another unrelated person, just like the previous sin.
Look at that origami! I couldn't make a dragon like that even if I did nothing but study paper folding for the next 30 years.
Except in Chinese culture, the name for paper folding is this.
这个给你。
Man, I feel sorry for anyone watching this that doesn't realize she's gonna die soon.
Like in my other videos, you are treating your thoughts as something wrong with this movie, which, like I've said before, they're not.
I've had it with these motherfucking present day titles in these motherfucking movies. It is not present day, it is a specific day.
That's not what present day means, so I'll show you its meaning here. And also, because the phrase isn't about the real world, movies can take place in a year that hasn't happened in our world, like 2023 for this movie.
Hot Jesus, San Francisco is the hottest film location since Vancouver. Apes, Ant-Man, even his Endgame appearance, and then the Venom films, then Matrix Resurrections, and this.
Why do you think it's wrong for movies to be filmed in San Francisco? Because that's the implication that you're making here.
This road.
Wait, so do you think that Lombard Street was made specifically for this movie? Because it wasn't. In other words, have you never been to San Francisco?
I'm driving.
Aquafina is a funny sidekick in a 2021 movie featuring dragons cliche.
Considering that this movie and Raya and the Last Dragon are the only 2 movies that have that, that's not enough to be considered a cliche.
Please open the door.
It's a pull-up lock and the window's open. I get that we are establishing that Sean is living an easygoing life here, but even he could probably figure out how to get that door open.
Yeah, he could, but the scene doesn't show Sean trying to open the door. It's showing him trying to convince Katie not to take the car on a joyride.
Sean, we've been friends for 10 years.
Exposition via friendly argument.
Like I said in the Moana video, exposition means a comprehensive explanation of something, and I don't think that what Katie said is that.
That maybe there's a point where you're supposed to stop going on joyrides and start thinking about living up to your potential.
Did my mom write this?
Like I've said many times before, your thoughts are not sins.
去年我在他的坟前放了一瓶白酒，第二天没了。
Being stupid.
Personally, even if the bottle of whiskey was just simply taken by someone else, I think it's sweet for Waipoa to do that.
Why Gong didn't move here from Hunan so you could park cars for a living.
Well, parking cars in San Francisco due to the city's notorious cost of living is probably a pretty f***ing good job.
Well, as you can see here, this is what valet workers are usually paid per hour in San Francisco.
I gotta be me. I gotta be me.
Jeremy sings something that isn't a sin cliche.
I'm not sure who decided to have this bus demolish a bunch of electric scooters, but whoever you are, my friend, you are the true hero. I mean, I still have to send the electric scooters for existing, but I wanted you to know how much I appreciate you first.
Why are you singing electric scooters for existing? They are a mode of transportation that doesn't require use of non-renewable resources.
There's plenty of Sean survives this happening right now, but the bigger question is, why is this guy trying to slice him in half and make him not survive this when the orders were just to get the pendant?
Because Sean fought off the other henchmen and won't just simply hand over the pendant.
This purse strap save makes me think this scene could have been a kick-ass Marvel entry into the Final Destination franchise, but it is not.
And because it wasn't, like you just said, how is this a sin?
From sunup to sundown, I was taught every possible way to kill a man.
Did you at least get a lunch break?
Obviously, yes. Is it really that hard to believe?
Also, this is not being taught how to kill a man. This is having the shit beat out of you.
Technically, you need to be able to defend yourself, or else you'll end up being the one killed instead.
The movie is about to insinuate that Jia Ling is going to teach herself how to become an expert poke-on-a-rope killer. But you can't just download this information into your head. This isn't a modern-day Matrix sequel. You can tell because the action scenes are actually good.
Xia Ling is not downloading the information into her head. She later tells Katie that even though she wasn't allowed to be trained, she watched everything they did and taught herself to do it better.
It's Shang-Chi.
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 This Shang's on for some time.
Yeah, and it's funny, so maybe just go along with it.
You change your name from Shang to Sean?
As much as I hate to say this, I have to agree with Aquafina here. That is a lazy-ass name change.
And what you just said isn't a sin because that's exactly the point.
Is that guy an extremist patient soldier? I understand Easter eggs and brand cohesion, but I did not understand wanting to associate your movie with Iron Man 3.
Well, yeah, Iron Man 3 brings up things from this movie, and I personally don't see what's wrong with that.
Oh my god, I could have a heart attack and die of not surprise.
Like I said earlier, your thoughts aren't sins.
Also, fighting with my family.
Also, bringing up another unrelated movie.
You know what he said to me when he left? I'll be back in 3 days.
Is this a Jesus callback? I'm tired of all these Marvel Easter eggs.
Xia Ling said that because that's literally what Shang-Chi said to her before he left for his mission.
Some bullshit.
How is it bullshit for Xia Ling to save Katie from falling to her death?
I told my men they wouldn't be able to kill you if they tried. Glad I was right. 我太想你了.
Cool. F you, daddy slap bracelets.
That wasn't a sin. You were just treating your thoughts as sins yet again.
My son is home!
Unfortunately, he's wearing a hoodie, and he has a girlfriend with neon pants.
First of all, what's wrong with wearing a hoodie? Secondly, Katie isn't Shang-Chi's girlfriend, she's just his friend.
A funny story.
I'll be the judge of that.
Some years ago, a terrorist from America,
Nope, not laughing.
And we haven't yet gotten to the part that Wenwu sees as funny.
the Mandarin, he gave his figurehead the name of a chicken dish.
Even more Iron Man 3 connections. If Ty Simpkins shows up here looking for his dad, I will legit add 1,000 cents.
And like in the Onward video, you say you're going to give a whole bunch of sins for something, but you don't because it doesn't happen.
Your mother wanted us to live in Talo. She asked permission from the elders, and they refused. They said I wasn't worthy.
They were correct.
Yeah, so how exactly is that wrong here?
To get through, you need to know the route and the exact time it opens. Now I know both.
How? I mean, I saw a path there, and the movie seems to indicate you somehow know the day, but even so, if those dragon eyes are a one-time use, were you even paying attention enough to memorize all that? I've played Myst, man. Map ain't easy.
I'm pretty sure that Wenwu has all the information memorized due to him doing his research on Talo, and I recommend you do your research too.
But then that dragon vomited a magical water map, and now I have no idea what's real.
Right, because the blip, and the fight with Thanos that flipped the blip, and the countless other strange things you've seen, including literal sorcerers, couldn't have prepared you for such a crazy experience. You can't have it both ways, Mark.
What? What Katie was saying was that she initially didn't believe what Wenwu was talking about, but since she saw the map, her thoughts are now unknown.
He says he grew up with your mum in Talo.
Am I even watching right now? It was a relatively straightforward magical kung fu movie for nearly an hour, and now suddenly I'm in a goddamn Pixar short.
Oh, you're still watching the same relatively straightforward magical kung fu movie, it's just that a Daejeong is now featured in it.
Morris says he can guide you there right now.
For f***'s sake. Look, Morris is a f***ing stupid footstool of a creature. F*** him. I'm adding 100 sins for Trevor being in this movie.
How many times do I have to tell you? Your thoughts and opinions are not sins of a movie. You know what? I'm just gonna give you 50 sins.
Is the Force working with them or against them? Because it apparently knows all about drifting and can adapt perfectly to these turns. Probably learned it from the Fast and Furious Okio drift.
Because Katie is driving the right way due to help from Trevor and Morris, the Force is moving so they can keep going and stay in the pocket.
This car just ran a spontaneous road course through a magical changing bamboo forest, and it has 0 body damage.
Wait, so you're now acknowledging that the trees are bamboo and you're not changing your sin from the beginning? Also, the car does have body damage based on this.
Peacock Fox! Peafox? Foxcock?
That's actually a 9-tailed Chinese fox spirit, which is known as this.
A herd of buckbeaks! They do move in herds.
Except a buckbeak looks like this.
The realm of Ta Lo stretches far beyond the shores of our small village.
It's almost impressive how much heavy story work this movie manages to do by using real-life narration and murals of exposition. But even 60% creative exposition, it's still 60% exposition.
Just like how movies need narration to tell their stories, they also need exposition to give good explanations on things, so I don't see how they're wrong.
Until the attack of the Dweller in Darkness.
Hell, there are a lot of characters to keep track of here. We're halfway through and I think they just introduced a new big bad.
Yeah, and some of these new big bads are essential to the story.
She knew that one day you would find your way here and asked me to prepare something for your arrival.
She left them supersuits? She's their mother and their Edna Mode?
Yeah, so how exactly is that wrong here?
I think my favorite part of this movie is when Awkwafina gets Legolas good at bow and arrow in a few days' time. Wait. I forgot the word least.
Like I said earlier, an opinion is not a sin.
You're the saddest bunch I've ever met, but you can bet before we're through, Mr. I'll make a man out of you.
Jeremy sings something that isn't a sin cliche.
If this was animated, I'd have already tagged it with a Disney protagonist is motivated by a dead parent cliche. But there's also a superhero who has a dead parent cliche. Can no one have a living parent?
No, there are Disney movies that don't have dead parents like the ones I'm showing here.
Did he just block rifle rounds by moving the loot loops in front of them? Did they give him special powers of speed and agility as well? I hate how every piece of equipment just eventually acts like magic whenever it's needed.
And that's exactly what they're supposed to do, my dude.
We will rebuild the Ten Rings to what it once was.
It seems weird to me that his evil organization is named after the wrist anklets he wears. This would be like King Arthur naming his army the Excaliburs.
Just because you feel that way about it doesn't mean that others do, which means that this isn't a problem with this movie.
Sure, Motorola Razorfist can just jam a hastily chopped off dragon scale sword into his arm port and everything works just fine, but I spend 30 minutes trying to decide which way is up on a USB cable.
Wow, nobody cares.
Whoa, he's controlling the sonic circles!
Yes, the 10 rings look like the Sonic rings.
Yay, more CGI chaos. My adrenal fatigue salutes you.
See what I said 3 sins ago.
Deus Luck Dragona!
This isn't a Deus Ex Machina because the Great Protector was already shown, meaning the solution to this problem was already established.
The Kung Fu movie will now end with a dragon fight, and that's fine, as long as it ends.
Like I already said, other people may not feel the same way you do about these fight scenes, and that means that this is not a sin.
Like, 10% of this movie is Awkwafina staring at something in shock or surprise.
Yeah, so?
Yeah, Legolas shot the dragon through the... Oh, it was Katie.
Well, sorry your hopes got dashed by this man. And here's the end result, everybody. This in total was 182, and the sentence will be Dragon Ring Fight. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have a nice day.